Hello friends, and welcome back to the channel, Stitching with Jolly on the Road. It has been a hot minute since I was on here last, and I deeply apologize for that, but life just gets busy, as you all know, not only me, but everybody else. But I do have a bunch of things to show you today. What have I been working on? A few years ago, I did some mug rugs and put them online. And some of my scrapbooking friends saw them, and one ordered several. She gave them as gifts to her friends. And this year, one of the recipients called me, and she wanted some mug rugs to give out at Christmas time to her friends. So I have been busy making mug rugs on my embroidery machine. This one is Great Is Thy Faithfulness, and an oval one at that. And these are made entirely in the hoop. I do not do any hand sewing on these at all. This one is 1 John 4:19, loved. It creates the entire mug rug, and then on the back you have two parts that you have. I use a sticky tape, the adhesive, that, well, not tape, but like you iron on and closes it, and to close it up. Christ is the anchor of my soul. I really love this one, especially since my son is in the Navy. Be strong and courageous, Joshua 1:9. I tried to pick different colors for everything. This one is called He Lives. And these are, I believe, designs by Juju. I am He who will sustain you, and I will carry you. And so I have already sent her the 6 that she ordered. In the morning when I rise, just give me Jesus. This is the most popular one that everybody loves. And done up in different colors. It looks different every time you make it. These are about 5 by 7. They're super cute. I do sell them for $10 a piece, and they are well received wherever I do sell them. But I have a pattern that has 29 designs, plus they're all Christian, plus 4 Christmas designs. And I decided I would make 2 of everything. Well, I am not even halfway through that list yet. I have an event coming up with some of the people that I work with at Chick-fil-A. They will be receiving a mug rug from me as a gift. So I've got to make sure I have enough for that. Because every time you show them off, oh, I would like to buy some for my friends, or I would like to give these as gifts, you know. So can never have too many mug rugs. You can never have too many mug rug patterns either. So that's always fun. In the world of cross stitch, I decided, as I told you before, that I was going to focus on maybe 4 main projects. And while I don't always have a lot of time to stitch due to working and various commitments, I have really concentrated the last couple of months on getting some stitching done. My big project, as you know, is Heaven and Earth Design, California Dreamin'. I do not know, I'm sorry, I do not know the author's name, but this is about 3 feet across, and I have really worked diligently on getting about all of this done over here. This is new. This was about halfway done here, and as you can see, you can definitely see the details coming out with the bird and everything. And this is a lifelong project. I hope to get this done before I die, but it is one of my favorite things to stitch on, and I do love it. So, California Dreamin'. I want to go back there someday. Another one I'm working on is the Blue Flower, Happy Campers, original design by Jeannie McGowan. I heard the mountain wind conversing with the trees. And when I showed you this last, I only had a little bit done. I had this part done, and I had these 2 done at StitchCon. So I have done all of this and all of this and this down the sides. I really like working on this one. It is a much higher count than I'm used to, but with my big magnifying glass that I use, I love seeing it come together. So I can't wait to work on it more. And it's kind of different because it's versus having an earth design that is full coverage and every square inch is covered. Whereas, so this one you're going to have to count where this tree goes, where each little motif is going to go. You have to count, as you all know, where to place everything. My biggest fear in life, as probably every other cross stitcher, is not getting those in the exact space that they need to be in and then making one other thing off. So I try to count really, really hard on that. The other one I worked on is for my grandson, Historic Tall Ships. And yes, I really hope to have these done by Christmas, but it's just not going to happen. I am doing the Storm, this one right here. This is a Stony Creek collection, Historic Tall Ships. I would love to do them all eventually, but we shall see what life holds for me. And I've really worked hard on this one. And before, I just had a little bit of some sails done. So I've got more masts done and more sails. And this is actually the bow of the ship, or the top of the ship, whatever you want to call it. So this is a larger count, so it's easier to work on. I love the blue fabric. I think it's going to be gorgeous when it's done and when it is framed. So I'm really enjoying working on that one. And the other Heaven and Earth design I'm working on is Raven Blue. My granddaughter's name is Raven, and this is by Joe Lynch. And it has all these beautiful blues and purples, with a little bit of green in there and whatever. And I just kind of fell in love with it when Raven was born, and finally got around to starting it and working on it a little bit. And so I have worked really hard on getting this section done, and I've done some fill-in down here. So this one is also a lot of fun to stitch on. It's a good count. It's not too small, it's not too large, and I have enjoyed working on that one as well. So I have definitely made progress in my stitching. I do try to stitch not every single evening, because sometimes I'm just too tired when I come home from work, but I do try to stitch 2, 3, 4 nights a week. And I will say on the California Dreaming one, this one right here, I took this out of my big frame. I have a big 3-foot frame, and it's one of those very expensive ones. I love it, but I have it on a stand that only holds one end of it, and I rest the other end on my chair arm, and I'm getting over a little bit farther, so I got to get the frame over a little bit farther, and that hampers me getting in the way in and out of my chair. So I have seen other people work Heaven and Earth designs on smaller hoops, and I have several smaller hoops that are available, so I decided I would go ahead and put this on a smaller hoop and see how I like working on it. And I do have a lap stand that I use, and so this has been really, really good. I've enjoyed it, and I think I'm going to keep it in the smaller hoop for now. So let me see what else has been going on. Well, I've had a very busy life, obviously. But I did just do a field trip with our local quilt guild, the Applique Quilt Guild, Applique Artists, I believe they are called. And we went to 4 or 5 different shops that are within an hour, 2-hour drive of here. We did go west a little bit. I live in Mooresville, North Carolina, and we are on the edge of 77, and Statesville, the next town up, is 40. That goes west into Asheville. Asheville is 2 hours away from us. And so we have had a lot of, obviously, hurricane relief efforts going on here. A lot of the people have come over here from the mountains to seek shelter. And as we were driving past Statesville on 40, which is now open, going to Asheville, only to Asheville. If you go into Asheville and go west of Asheville on 40, it is still closed and will be for some time. But even just going an hour or so from Statesville, where 77 and 40 cross, we saw a lot of trees down along the highway and then off the road where we went to the quilt stores at. So that, I did not realize it was that close, a little bit past Hickory, North Carolina. So damage, and of course, as we are all aware, that devastation is still going on. recovery efforts and cleaning up, of course, is a full-blown affair right now. The last I heard, the last body they retrieved made the death toll 98 here in North Carolina alone. But there are still, I'm believing the number was in the 20s, still missing and unaccounted for. Whether or not they'll ever be found, we have no idea, of course. So please continue to pray for Western North Carolina. I'm going to a quilt retreat this coming week south of Asheville, and we will be taking some quilts and blankets and some of those kinds to donate to the relief effort there as well. But on our little field trip, if you go to a quilt store on a field trip, you have to buy something. And of course, the North Carolina Shop Hop is going on. So, of course, I had to buy something. So the first thing I bought goes with this wall hanging right here. Didn't really have a backing for it other than something that is just plain white. I thought, well, if I find something on sale that's really cute, I would go ahead and buy that. This fabric I bought at JS Linens in Statesville, and it's a sewing fabric. It says quilt show, fabric, sew, rotary cutter, embroidery, cotton. It has scissors, pens, art quilts. It's all about sewing. So I really, really like that. It was on great, I think it was less than $5 for a yard. And so I got that to make the backing for that Kiss My Scraps wall hanging. So that'll be fun. Another thing I bought at another store was this cute little book called Sewing Scrap Blocks with Character. And I have no idea how you say this name. I hope you can see that. But it is really cute blocks. And at first I thought, when I looked at this, I thought they were paper pieced. And then you go to the back and the patterns are right here. Well, actually the blocks are this size. I'm assuming you could blow these up and make them bigger sizes. But they are all pieced and they are all small blocks. I think they're 3.5 inches. And this came from the lady who did originally this 365 days of making a block. And so she was sewing a 3.5 inch square block every day for the entire year. So, but they're super cute. And I think it would make a super cute quilt or wall hanging. And as you can see, there's lots of tiny little pieces that go with it. But they're animals and they're grouped by themes. So like winter, you have some winter things in here. And then you go into spooky Halloween. Super cute, and Halloween is coming up. And then you go into Easter Joy. Look at those cute little animals. Crazy Quilt like. Super cute. Super, super cute. And Feline Friends. She has a whole little story about this cat going on in here, who peeps up here and there and everywhere in these cute little blocks. And also, cat yoga. Here we go with the cat doing all kinds of yoga. Cute little cat yoga. And animal babies. These are all baby animals. So actually another lady bought this book as well. Maybe we can challenge each other to get to working on some of these. So this is going to be quite an interesting project, since I really have no idea what I'm doing with this. But it's going to be cute. My girlfriend in Ohio has done several of these, I really don't know what you call them, collage quilts. So you have your backdrop, then you do your main piece, and then you take flower fabric, cut it all up into tiny little pieces to decorate the main event. And I saw this camper. As we all know, I was a full-time RVer for 8.5 years, and that's where my heart is. That's why this channel is named Stitching with Jolly on the Road. Jolly on the Road has been my handle for over 20 years now. But can't believe we left town in 2006, and we started 2 years before that getting everything together. So there you go. And at the store I bought this at, in the scrap fabric, I found, in a scrap bin, I found this fabric, which is a piece of backing, which is plenty big enough to do the backing for this. So this is going to be my backing, and I have no other fabric at this point in time for any of the rest of it. But I think it will be fun collecting fabric for this, because little tiny flowers is not something I normally collect, but that's going to be another fun project coming up. My daughter that just moved here from California, I had made her children both Christmas quilts last Christmas, and I put Minky on the back of them, and she loves them. I just used, I believe, just a panel on the front, and she said, "Mom, I love a quilt this size. Could you make me one?" And I have made her a queen size quilt for her bed, which has all elephants on it. That's beautiful, that I got a honorable mention on in the quilt show I put it in here locally. Very proud of myself for that one. But I found this cute little pattern called the Puppies. Now she came from California with 5 big dogs. Rivers, their oldest dog, has since passed away. He had cancer, which we knew he had, but he survived 2 more years past that diagnosis and did very, very well. But she had 2 dogs. She got a boy and a girl, and they happened to be related, and they happened to get together during the girl's first heat cycle, totally by accident, and they had a litter of 4 puppies. And she kept 2 of those puppies, even though she tried to only keep 1. She got rid of 2, didn't get rid of the 3rd one. So she has 2 puppies and a mom and dad. So she has 4 dogs. And I thought this would be a really cute quilt to make for her, and maybe by Christmas next year I'll have it done. And it calls for 12 fat quarters. The large size on this is 66 by 66. And so at one store I bought some fat quarters. And I just went with some different colors that kind of maybe coordinated with one another, that would be good to use for the doggies' ears and their parts of their faces. And then I actually had these 2 at home. So all of these are going to be used in that quilt. And then it also called for a solid light brown and dark brown, which I bought at one quilt store. And this fabric, which is, let me see what it says on it. When you do things from your soul, you feel a river moving in you, a joy. This is Designs for Moda. And I thought this would be a perfect, her dogs are about a blonde color, so this would show less dog hair. I really liked it. I love the muted look of it, the grungy look, and the fact that it'll hide dog hair. Because we have dogs, let's face it, you're going to have dog hair. There's no way around it. Unless you get one of those that they say don't shed, which I'm sure they still shed a little bit. But that's going to be an up-and-coming project. I'm super excited about it. It's always fun to start a new project. I went to my quilt retreat in Ohio, which I'll talk about a little more in a minute. But we have a lady who was getting rid of some fabric there, and she had a couple of layer cakes. And this is called Patio. Vanessa Lil Rose and Linda Fitch Wishwell by Robert Kaufman. And I really have no idea what to do with this fabric, but it's super cute. And I just watched a Missouri Star quilt pattern that uses 10-inch squares, and I might use this for that. Super cute. $10. Who can get a layer cake for $10? And then this one is Riley Blake Butterfly Berries. I haven't even opened this one to see what it was, but again, for $10, I couldn't pass it up. I don't always work with a lot of bright fabrics, and this is definitely a lot of bright fabrics. This would make a cute little girl quilt. So we shall see how long I keep this in my collection before I do something with it. And then this is a smaller one. These are all whites, all off whites, tone on tones, which would complement either one of these layer cakes. So super cool about that. One of the ladies had her husband make some clappers. And let me tell you, these are heavy duty, super, super nice. They have a wonderful groove on the side. They are very, very smooth and finished really, really nice. They were really inexpensive. She sold them by the inch. I cannot remember how much, but I got two different ones, a longer one and a shorter one. And then she also asked what other sizes we might like, and I said I want a 12 by 12 inch for when I do blocks. And sometimes you just want to you iron that block and you want all those seams to be flat at one time. And wouldn't it be nice to have a 12 by 12 clapper to put on top of that block and let all those seams get flat? So he has already made them, and they will be waiting for me when I go to Ohio in the springtime for my retreat. So that is definitely what I have been working on. The next project coming up is, as I've said before, teaching myself to quilt on my embroidery machine. This might be a great first project. I do want to go in and do some little detail work in here and in here in the cat, but I could see me definitely starting out with that. And again, you need to measure your design, and then you need to measure your piece. Then you need to make sure that your backing is bigger on either side, because if you start in the middle and you go over to the side, you want to make sure that you're not missing this much of it, you know. Or if you start here and you go here and then you go here, you want to make sure you have enough backing fabric that all of that quilt top is going to be caught in there. So that will probably be my first piece that I do with that. I've done one smaller quilt on that, and so we'll see. That's coming up. I'm going to be using, I have designs by Juju, and I also have Anita Good Design quilting blocks, so we shall see. Some family news is big news. My son-in-law has been working at a local restaurant and was just promoted to general manager, and we are super excited for him. He has had bar managing background for many years in San Diego, and this is a perfect job for him. He's come out here he did a roofing job for a while, and he did car sales for a while. This is right up his alley, so we are super excited about that. And on the other news, the wife of my son-in-law, our youngest daughter, just bought her first business. She is super excited. It is not a restaurant, though most of her experience since graduating high school, 20 years of experience in the food industry. This is a place that preps the work and freezes it, and then you get the food prepared and you just go and bake it or fry it or cook it, whatever the instructions are, and it's all prepared. It is not like one of those HelloFresh or whatever where they send you 20,000 different items. You have to prep every little single item. It takes you 2 hours to prep it and cook it, and then you get enough to serve 2 people. This is not like that at all. This is like, we got a whole Popeye dish. It's completely done. You put it in the oven, you bake it, you sit down, you eat it, and it was enough for 4 people. Very good food. What I have been doing personally is, last month I spent a week at the lake house with my sisters. My niece owns a lake house in Lake Oconee, Georgia, and we try to go there once every so many years and get together, and that's always a lot of fun. There are 5 sisters altogether. My father had 4 girls, of which I am the baby. And then we have a younger half-sister, Jackie, who's just like our real full sister because she puts up with all of us. And our oldest sister, who will be 75 in a couple of days, has acute short-term memory loss, just like our father did. So it's kind of a lot of work reminding her where her phone is, or buying her a new one if she lost it like she did on vacation. And reminding her where everything is. And then, of course, what do 5 old women do when they get together? You know, after you're together for 3 hours, you all start arguing about everything. But we laid out on the dock all week. We even went swimming in the lake. We went out to eat. Our niece Carrie came over and took us all out for lunch. We played cards at night. We sat around the table on the back porch every night and chit-chatted and played cards. Me and my youngest sister, we scrapbooked digitally. So it was a very fun and relaxing week where I didn't have to get up and go anywhere. That's my idea of vacation. When I got back from that, I was home and I worked 2 days, and then I left to go to Ohio to the retreat that I put on, which is a crafters retreat. Any craft you want to do. It doesn't have to be scrapbooking. It doesn't have to be quilting. I have card makers. I have quilters. I have traditional scrapbookers. I have digital scrapbookers. I have crocheters, knitters, painters, whatever you want to do if you want to get away for a fun weekend. This was it. And we had 22 people, which, you know, I would say 25, it probably puts us at capacity. Maybe I could hit 30, but man, did we have a great time. The weather was perfect. It was beautiful. Like I say, my church camp, Beulah Beach, is right on the shores of Lake Erie in Vermilion, Ohio. And you just couldn't have asked for a better week. The friendships that I have made there, and the people that come are my life. Some of them are my lifelong friends. We've been together for 38 years, ever since we were pregnant together, my bestie. And I really started this retreat based on the one I go to in Asheville. I started it so I could go home and see my friends. And lo and behold, not only do my friends come, but now their friends come. And this thing has grown from, you know, 7 or 8 people to now we have 22 people and are maxing out our capacity almost. It was a beautiful time. Lots of quilts that were done. One lady, I think she got 5 rag quilts done. They were all cut out ahead of time, so she just did the sewing and the clipping. Absolutely beautiful job. My best friend made a quilt that I had shown how to make with a jelly roll. She did a fabulous job on it. We had 3 new quilters who all brought their projects with them, and they were cranking out getting things finished. Beautiful work. And it just goes on and on. I had 2 ladies that make cards just for themselves and their families, and they were cranking out the beautiful cards. And then I have another lady who comes and she makes cards professionally and actually sells them. And of course we all buy them while we're there, and she was cranking out the cards as well. So that was a lot of fun. I loved it. When we left there, my youngest sister and I met up in Morgantown, West Virginia with my one of my older sisters, and went to visit an old family friend who's 98 years old, still lives on her own, was very sick this summer, and we thought we might lose her, but she's still holding her own, bless her heart. And we don't tell her we're coming because then she wants to cook, and that just is too much for her at 98. But we surprised her. We stay in a hotel when we're there, and we bring her her favorite food from Olive Garden. We do take her grocery shopping or whatever she needs when we're there. And we were there for several days, and we had a blast. So they left from there and went home, and then I left from Morgantown, West Virginia, and came back to Mooresville. I've been doing a lot of babysitting with the grandkids, the 5 and 7-year-old. Our oldest daughter and her family just got back from a cruise down to Mexico somewhere. Had a wonderful time. Used a different cruise line than Carnival this time, and really, really loved it. Like I say, I'm going to Asheville this weekend. I think we have about 22 ladies. Now, where we go there is Luther Ridge, and that is in Arden, which is a little bit south of actual Asheville, closer to the Biltmore Estates, actually. They did sustain damage. They had a lot of trees down. It's kind of on the top of a mountain. It is also a residential area, just like my church camp in Ohio. They have people that live there on their own property, but it's also a summer camp for kids to come to and for retreats to go on. And they did have, they lost power, they had a lot of trees down. The trees, the main ones that are blocking roadways or whatever, have been, of course, cleared. There are still trees down in the woods and on the paths that go through the woods. They are still under a boil advisory for water, so we will be bringing in our own water to drink. But whatever they cook for us, of course, they will take care of that themselves. And of course, showers our water is running for that. Internet is a little iffy. It comes and it goes. And so I have told all my digital scrapbookers to make sure that any pictures that you have up in the cloud that you want to work with, that you need to download to your computer, don't rely on the internet to work on your projects. With the program I use with Forever, Artisan 6.0, you do not need to be on the internet to scrapbook. It's always great if you're working on something and you want to go on the internet and purchase a new kit that coordinates with what you're working on, that, yeah, having the internet is great, but is not a necessity at all. And most of us have enough digital kits, we don't need to purchase any. I've been Hello, just a quick update. My last video cut off. I have realized that my camera only records about 18 minutes at a time. And my ending was cut off. So I'm back. I'm doing a new ending. I just got back from scrapbooking retreat in Asheville, North Carolina. Had a wonderful time. About 18 ladies were there. Got a lot done. I actually did an entire 80-page 12 or 10 by 10 8.5 by 11 by 10 scrapbook album for a friend of mine. Pages are done, journaled. It's very simple, just introducing our family to our friend so she can see who everybody is on down the line. She's known us all our life, but now it's time for the grandchildren, the great-grandchildren, and the greats. So while I was there, I did drive to Asheville. I did see a lot of the damage from the hurricane, and I do want to remind you to continue to pray for Western North Carolina and the recovery efforts there, which will take years. They did just find recover another body, and I'm not sure what the count is up to at the moment, but the devastation from the flooding and the down trees and the mud and slush and rocks that were just washed down the mountain is unbelievable. Even in the little area we were in, they had about 500 trees that were down, and it is just a little bit of a top of a mountain. They think they had a couple of twisters going on in there because the trees are just twisted off. Some of them are just completely uprooted, which happens here in the South. The roots are not very deep. The dirt gets saturated with all the previous rain, and then you had the hurricane rain, and the trees just topple over, roots and all. So they had damage to about 38 structures that were in the camp we were at. It's a Luther Ridge Camp and Conference Center. It's a Lutheran church camp for summer camp for kids, and also a residential area. Most of the restaurants are up and running. They want you to come. They want your business. They're still under a boil advisory for their water. Some of them are serving strictly paper plates and plastic and throw away, and some of them are in a different water just down the road. They're in a different water community. They get their water from another county. They're not under that same boil alert, and they're back to running business as usual. So, but definitely continue to pray for Western North Carolina. The other thing I really want to encourage you about is a lot of people, they lost everything. They lost their photo albums. They lost their photos. They lost everything. And me being a scrapbooker and representing the company Forever.com, and we having the best online storage options available, really brings to mind that I need to be telling you more about where are your photos and how you can keep them safe. We offer we digitize. I can't say that. We digitize your videos. We digitize your old photos. We digitize your old albums. We put everything into digital format so that you can store it in your own online cloud service that you buy, that you own, that is safe and secure. And we don't share your data information. And also, it's guaranteed for 100 years for you and more for your people you leave behind. And it's also something that you can transfer down to your children and your children and your children. And it goes on and on. So this is something that can be kept for forever, and that's the whole idea of it. And if you're interested in any aspect of it, check out Forever.com or leave me a message and we'll talk. It is a wonderful opportunity to get your photos and your memorabilia safe and secure. We also store documents. If you're into genealogy, birth certificates, homeowners insurance, wills, any of those things, you can store on your Forever account as well. So just be aware that a disaster can happen to any of us at any time. So pray for your loved ones, pray for Western North Carolina, and please check out Forever.com so you know that your photos will be safe and secure for forever. Thanks, and I hope to get this up soon and do more regular videos. Talk to you later. Bye.